Ladies and gentlemen, as you continue to enjoy your dinner, quietly, mouths closed, no clinking of glasses or silverware, we're going to continue with the program. And we'd like to invite up the chairman of this 2008 Legends in Sports Committee, Gary Bartlett.
Thank you, Chris. On behalf of Tulsa Sports Charities, I'd like to welcome you to our 6th annual Legends in Sports Dinner. My name's Gary Bartlett, and I have the honor of acknowledging those people who helped make this evening possible. First of all, Lance Taylor. Lance must be the best salesman in the world. Lance was in charge of getting the players and coaches from the University of Texas to come up here for the dinner, and I would love to have heard some of those phone conversations. As a former athlete myself, I know that I would go a long ways for a free meal, but these guys went above and beyond to come up here and take part in this function with us. And to the players and coaches from the University of Texas, we give our thanks. We appreciate you being here. And I might mention that this is, as best we can tell, the largest contingent of players and coaches from the University of Texas that has been in Oklahoma since 1929, when the Cotton Bowl started hosting the OU Texas game. So this is really a special evening that we're very proud of. I'd also like to thank all the players from the University of Oklahoma and the coaches that came in from all over the United States to take part in this dinner tonight. Your efforts are very much appreciated, and we hope that you're having a good time and get a chance to rekindle some of the feelings and memories that made this weekend coming up so special for everybody. And the spirit of this event can be summed up in a conversation that I heard this afternoon when a player from OU and Texas, 2 players met and hugged up on each other, and one of them backed up and said, "I still hate you, but man, it's good to see you again." So this dinner is not a pep rally for OU or a pep rally for Texas, but it's a celebration of the excellence that is exhibited by both schools. Chris will talk later about the accomplishments of both of the universities, but both schools, if they didn't represent the highest levels of preparation, competition, execution, and sportsmanship, then this weekend would not be as special as it has become, not just in Oklahoma and Texas, but throughout the nation. And we're really pleased as Tulsa Sports Charities to bring these gentlemen together who have played such a big part in making the OU Texas weekend such a big part of college sports. There are a lot of people who put a lot of time and effort into making this dinner possible. I'd like to read the names of our Legends Committee members, starting with Chris Lincoln, Stan Martin, Roy Adams, Jenny Krevling, Ted Owens, J.V. Haney, Paige Cole, Larry Houchin, Nate Waters, Lori Mathis, Sherry Setters, Marcia Graham, Tommy Thompson, Stacey Gentry, and Angie Schrader. And we'd like to really give a great welcome to thank you for our dinner committee. Tulsa Sports Charities was formed in 2004 with the purpose, our stated purpose is to go out, have a lot of fun, raise a lot of money, and then give all the money away. In the 6 years that we've been doing these dinners, we have raised over $372,000, of which we have given away $341,000. The major beneficiary of tonight's dinner is a Center for Individuals with Physical Challenges. And I'd like to invite Lori Mathis Long, the director of the center, to come up and share a little bit with you about who the center is and what they do. And while Lori is coming up, Tommy Thompson, would you come up here for a second also? I don't know if you all know, but Tommy is our executive director for Tulsa Sports Charities and has done lots and lots of work, lots of sweat, and they just so much appreciate what he's done. Where's Lori?
Last time we saw him, he was in the restroom.
There's Lori. Lori, if you help me hold that just for a second. Tommy, can you hold it? Yeah. As a token of our appreciation from the center for all that you've done, Tommy, we'd like to present you with this one-of-a-kind ceramic sports collage, which was made especially for you by the members at the center.
Wow.
So again, from Tulsa Sports Charities, thank you for being here. We appreciate your support so much. To the players and coaches, what a treat to have you here. We hope everybody enjoys the evening, and I'm going to turn it over to Lori to tell you about the Center for Individuals with Physical Challenges. Lori?
Appreciate it. Well, good evening, and welcome to the 2008 Legends in Sports Rivalry Dinner. My name is Lori Mathis Long, and I am proud to be here tonight on behalf of the Center for Individuals with Physical Challenges, where I'm privileged to serve as their executive director. Now, I would venture to guess that when most of you either bought tables or tickets to come to tonight's event, or were invited here by a friend or a colleague, you came because of the legendary Red River rivalry that we are here to honor tonight. You came because of the esteemed group of past coaches and players that are generous enough to donate of their time and be here with us in this evening's festivities. I don't blame you. It's one heck of a good reason to be here. What you may not have realized is that you being here tonight is also supporting an outstanding charity that has the good fortune to benefit from the Legends event for the last 6 years, the Center for Individuals with Physical Challenges. Now, I realize the center is not the main reason you are here tonight, but I would like to take just a couple of minutes of this evening's program to share with you the cause that benefits from the funds raised tonight. And as I speak, some images of the center and the individuals that we serve will be showcased on the large screen. When we think of a rivalry, especially as good of a rivalry as OU Texas, we think competition, we think of challenges, we think of rising above the adversities to overcome the incredible feat that lies before us. And in many ways, the individuals that are served by the center share many of those same attributes. In fact, if you think about it, we all do. We all have challenges in our lives. It's just on some of us, they show. The center has been around for the past 50 years and stays true to the very same mission we were founded upon, to provide opportunities for persons with physical disabilities to enhance the quality of their life. And we do that through a variety of community recreational programs that assist individuals to rise above the challenges that they face. Rehabilitative fitness programs to help improve stamina and prevent further relapse or injury. We have a state-of-the-art fitness center and structured assistive exercise programs where individuals are improving their physical functioning. Adaptive recreation allows people to be creative, like the art piece that was just presented to Tommy. And it allows them to adjust socially to the challenges that they now face. So from arts and crafts, to a horticulture program, to culinary classes, to a computer lab and many wellness seminars, the individuals served at the center have truly developed a sense of community and have provided a second home for people with all disabilities. And last, our community outings program allows those we serve a chance to be a part of the community and be involved in ways that you and I take very much for granted. Going to lunches out, movies, going shopping, bowling, and even horseback riding. and taking part of all the local festivals and local attractions that our wonderful area has to offer. We also offer the only competitive junior wheelchair sports program in northeastern Oklahoma for children and teenagers with mobility impairments. And in addition to the programs already mentioned, we are home to 8 different support groups, some of those being disability specific, while others are more general in nature. More information on all of our programs can be found on our website at www.tulsacenter.org. Your support this evening helps people with all levels of challenges. They might be stroke survivors, have cerebral palsy, muscular dystrophy, or MS. They might be visually or hearing impaired, have hypertension, diabetes, or arthritis. Or they might be covering from a severe brain or spinal cord injury. But the one thing all those people have in common is the desire to rise above the challenges that are in their life. The center, with your support from tonight's event, allows them to do just that. We could not do what we do without the support that the community provides. So if you'd like to know more about our programs or how you might be able to help further our mission, our contact information is provided in tonight's program. Thank you so much for allowing me to share just a little bit about the center. Now get ready, because the rivalry is about to be reignited. Enjoy the evening, everyone.
Thank you, Lori. Tommy Thompson continues to keep selling. Remind you that the silent auction is closing in just a little over 5 minutes. And again, these posters, $10, plenty of those, only now less than 20, going for $50 each. All the Sooner and Longhorn players, coaches signed this one. So Tommy hopes you'll get out and get some of those as well. We've got a live auction coming up this evening on top of that. So all this money, again, going to the charities you heard about, but also Tulsa Sports Charities about raising money for scholarships for our universities. We're going to start with our first presentation of the Dr. George Mowerman Scholarship. And to make that presentation, the Director of Athletics of the undefeated National Statistical Leader in offense, scoring, passing efficiency, Golden Hurricane, Bubba Cunningham.
I have no idea who is going to win the Red River Shootout, but we play SMU at 7 o'clock Saturday night, so whoever loses, come and cheer for TU. It shouldn't be a problem. I want to thank the Tulsa Sports Charities for their contribution to the George Mowerman Scholarship Fund. Here to accept the scholarship tonight is our Clinical Associate Professor and Director of Athletic Training Education at the University of Tulsa, Robin Ploger.
So quiet, Bubba. Nice job. Now for Oklahoma State University, the Bill and Anita Connors Scholarship. And to make the presentation of that, our good friend Terrell Lester, the Claremore Daily Progress, behind the curtain.
What an all-star gathering we have here, and Bill Connors would have referred to this as a gathering of eagles. Eagles like Barry Switzer, Fred Akers, Clendon Thomas, now there's a Hall of Famer, James Street. They were all all-stars in their field, and everyone around here knows that Bill Connors was an all-star in his field. He was a Hall of Famer, the head of his class. He was the one and only Bill Connors. He was the face and the voice of the Tulsa world through 5 decades. He was the preeminent sports writer, not only at the Tulsa world, but also in Oklahoma. He was a craftsman of words and analysis, a gentleman of the first order, honest and trustworthy. Bill died in 2000, but his influence and his name and his style continue to dominate the conversations of sports fans and sports figures to this day. How many would have wondered, I guess, at this point, what would Bill have thought about the game coming up Saturday between the number 5 team and the number 1 team in the nation in Dallas, where he would be every year and had been every year since 1953. Somewhere right now, Bill Connors, Jones Ramsey, Bud Wilkinson are having one great and colorful storytelling session in advance of that game. Tulsa Sports Charities and Tommy Thompson have kept the Bill Connors legacy alive through the Bill and Nita Connors Scholarship to his alma mater, Oklahoma State University. Mrs. Connors, I had talked with today, was planning on being here, but at the last minute was unable to. But the spirit of Bill Connors is here. And it is my hope, through the Tulsa Sports Charities, that the recipient of the scholarship in Bill's name to his alma mater will be able to say years from now that in some small way Bill Connors had a part in his or her career, much as he did in mine years ago. I've got a scholarship here for Gary Tennepool, the president of Oklahoma State Tulsa. He will take this scholarship in Bill Connors' name. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
The Oklahoma Scholarship is awarded in the name of Wayman Tisdale. To make that presentation, Director of Athletics, the University of Oklahoma, Joe Castiglione.
Thank you very much, Chris. I want to thank all the people involved with organizing this event tonight. It's a great idea. Been very fortunate to be part of 10 games involving the University of Oklahoma and Texas, and I'm always privileged and honored to be amongst so many people, coaches and former players that have helped make that rivalry the best there is in college football. And I really appreciate what you all have done. This year, Tulsa Sports Charities is donating $10,000 to the OU Club of Tulsa as part of their scholarship drive to assist students who are interested in attending the University of Oklahoma. This scholarship will now be known as the Wayman Tisdale Scholarship. Hey, come on over. Paige, good to have you here with me.
Thank you very much.
Probably the easiest reason why people have selected Wayman as a person that they wanted to honor is because they think of him, his enormous smile, his selfless spirit, the way that he has been able to inspire so many people for years and years, from the time he was a high school player here in the area to going on to the University of Oklahoma and being a 3-time All-American, obviously a great NBA career, and now a multi-Grammy award-winning artist. He really does find a way to make people feel good about themselves. And so we're really proud to have a scholarship in his name that we can award to students. I've had a chance to get to know Wayman even more since I've been here at Oklahoma and talked to him quite a bit. In fact, I talked to him late this afternoon, and while he couldn't be here tonight, he wanted me to thank all of you, and especially those who are involved in recognizing him with this scholarship, for thinking of him. He's so blessed. He constantly tells you that. He feels so lucky, so fortunate to have so many people that have reached out to him during this challenge that he's faced with his life. And he told me, he said, you know, Joe, if you see me in a fight with a bear, you better help the bear. He really does feel, that this challenge has opened the doors to many other blessings in his life. And Paige Cole, the president of the OU Club of Tulsa, on behalf of everybody that was involved in making this scholarship possible, we look forward to working with you to assist many, many incoming students to the University of Oklahoma. Congratulations.
We'd have Coach Fred Akers join us up on stage, the former Texas coach. Coach Akers is going to make the presentation for the University of Texas Scholarship, very appropriately named the Bob Parker Senior Scholarship. Please welcome up Coach Fred Akers.
Thank you very much. I've always felt it a real honor to talk to this gentleman, ask him questions, get all the advice that I could get from him. And I consider him one of my friends, one of my mentors. And I can't tell you how much through he and his family, out of genuine love and appreciation for the University of Texas, how much he has done to make the University of Texas a great place. You know, Bob Parker is not the kind of person that seeks the limelight, but he's willing to be in it just so those around him can share. And I think that this is an indication of the kind of person that Bob is and what he represents. And I just hope that the recipient, through the University of Texas, will know the genuine love and appreciation that he has exhibited and is willing to share with them. This is a $10,000 scholarship to the University of Texas in the name of Bob Parker Sr. Bob?
I'm going to break the rules and remind those that don't know that the University of Texas lost one of its greatest supporters in the last 2 weeks. But next Saturday, our family will be making up for her cheering in Dallas with hook 'em horns. Thank you.
Bob Parker Sr. The only good thing about Bob taking his drilling company to Houston is not seeing that damn Texas flag flying over the Parker Drilling Company on OU Texas Week. A legend, though. Thank you, Bob. By the way, Tommy showed me the silent auction is now closed. Silent auction is closed. Our posters still remain on sale. $50 for about 10 of these still left. Everybody sign those. $10 for the other posters. Well, now for the first of two very special awards this evening, we'd like you to watch the video screen, meet our J.B. Haney Community Spirit Award winner. This video produced and narrated by our friend at Cox Cable, the host of Sports Night Oklahoma, Mike Wolf. And to make the presentation, the president, the CEO of Spirit Bank at the Spirit Bank Event Center, our good friend Kel Kelly.
Thank you, Cal.
Thank you, Chris. Spirit Bank is delighted to be able to sponsor the J.V. Haney Award. Whenever I'm at an event and I talk to anyone about my friend J.V. Haney, almost all of them that have been around sports for a number of years have J.V. Haney stories. Many people came to our table tonight and said, I can tell you a few stories about J.V. They would not be appropriate. So I'm not going to share any of those, J.V., for that very reason. But we are delighted as Spirit Bank and your Spirit Bank family to present the J.V. Haney Award for community service tonight. And I think that when this was first cast, we said originally that we wanted to find someone who had the characteristics and epitomized J.V. Haney. And then after we thought through that for a minute, we decided that we wanted to find somebody that epitomized his community service. So J.V., we've defined that a little more clearly now. But Dan Roberts is someone that reflects all of the good qualities that J.V. Haney's life of service has given to Tulsa and to Oklahoma. J.V. has touched more people, has shaped more lives, has donated more time, and continues to be a force for good. And you know, I had someone tell me today, they said, one of the things that I want to do in life is be able to say that I made a difference. Now, all of us define what making a difference is to them. But I will tell you that across this state and really across the country, J.V. Haney is somebody that has made a very positive difference. And we salute you, J.V., as well. Please welcome, if you would, a great Tulsan, a great person, someone who goes about in a quiet way of supporting many good causes, Tulsa Sports Charities being one of those, but somebody that does make a difference and does epitomize the spirit of service and the spirit of community service that J.V. Haney has appropriately had this award named for. Please welcome the recipient of the J.V. Haney Award, Dan Roberts.
They kept this surprise from me. Am I supposed to say something?
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Dan, I want to present you with this beautiful white, I think that's a stallion, I'm not completely sure, but this beautiful remembrance of your award, the J.V. Haney Service Award, Community Service Award. We thank you for what you've done for Tulsa and for what you do every day in a quiet way and in a good way. So thank you very much, Dan, and congratulations.
Thank you. Well, now I know why my family is here. Now I know why so many people showed up. They kept this a surprise for me. Our involvement with the Tulsa Sports Charities is centered around the things you've seen so far this evening. We're in it for the children. We're in it for those that are maybe less fortunate than us in some ways. I've been to the center, and I've seen those people that are struggling to be all that they can be given their situation in life, and those type of things charge me, and they make me proud to be part of the Tulsa Sports Charities. As we all gather together and celebrate the rivalry between OU and Texas, I just know that, I'm a sports fan like everybody else, but I know that what really brought me here is those people that we see represented in the center and those people that are going to come to our fine universities, Texas University, OU, Oklahoma State, and Tulsa University, and get an education and make something better of themselves. I'm humbled by an award. I kind of remember what my Sunday school lessons were when the good book says that you're supposed to have your good deeds done in private rather than shared in front of everybody else. So to more aptly
shine the light on those that are deserving or that cause me to be able to stand here. I'd like to thank my wife who works tirelessly alongside me, and my family who's here. It's my mother's birthday today, so Mom, happy birthday to you. And a number of our executive staff who cause both our companies to thrive so that we can funnel revenue into the Tulsa Sports Charities in an effort to help those who are striving to be all that they can be. Thank you very much, Kel, for this award. If Tommy were around, I'd wrestle him to the ground, but kind of embarrassed me. But thank you all very much.
I had to check, Dan. For the records, that's a gelding, by the way. Our next and final very special award is the Larry W. Brummett Award of Courage. Who is Larry W. Brummett? Why is there an award named for him? A video produced by One Oak will tell you the story. Larry Brummett would be very proud of the man who is to receive the award named for him tonight. And to make the presentation, I'm very proud to introduce my next friend here from Channel 2 Sports, Big Al Jerkins.
Who would have thunk it? Same helmet, OU Texas. What's next? The economy getting better? You'll be able to bid on this in a while, by the way. And it's great to be able to come to an OU Texas function where, you know, half the dining room isn't red and half the dining room isn't orange. And I think you ought to give yourselves a fine round of applause because we're all getting along tonight. Isn't it a great thing? Now, our next presentation, very special, and it goes beyond football. It goes beyond great tackles of this series, goes beyond the great touchdowns that we have seen, the great rivalries that go on. And if I may, Jimmy Trammell of the Tulsa World and my colleague on our radio show wrote a terrific article a couple of years ago about Jerry Anderson, and his opening line was, "Memorial Day is a holiday most likely to trigger memories of former Oklahoma football player Jerry Anderson, but this was a man. He gave the gift of life at the expense of his own, who deserves to be remembered on Christmas." And Barry Switzer was also quoted on Jerry Anderson by saying, "These are the kind of guys that need to be featured on the cover of Sports Illustrated." And I think you will agree that Jerry Anderson not only was a great player, but he was an unbelievable human being. And one of those that would certainly testify to that was a young man in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, Jonathan McFarland. Jerry Anderson saved his life, as most of you know. But this wasn't the first life that Jerry Anderson had saved. He had saved 2 others prior to that. And what we'd like to do now is take a look at a video on Jerry Anderson provided on television a couple of years ago that I think will tell the entire story, if we can roll that video now. And I think you would agree that the entire Cotton Bowl, regardless of what team you'd be rooting for, would be standing up for standing ovation for Jerry Anderson. And to make the presentation from One Oak, I present John Gibson.
Thank you, Big Al. It's truly an honor to be here this evening representing One Oak, its 4,700 employees, and presenting the Larry W. Brummett Courage Award to a person who, as you have just heard, exemplified the same courage in life and passion for people as did Larry. Several of Larry's family members are here tonight, and I would like to introduce them. Larry's son, Chris, Larry's wife, Debbie, stepdaughter, Brooke Lunsford, and Larry's parents, the Reverend H.A. and Pat Brummett. I would also at this time like to introduce Jerry Anderson's family. Jerry's wife, Darlene. Please stand. Their daughter, Delonda. And grandsons, Jerry, Marquise, and Jeremiah Anderson. Jerry's sister, Monica Green, and her son, Cameron Goat. Larry Brummett was One Oak's chairman, president, and chief operating officer from July of 1994 until his death in August of 2000. He was beloved by his employees, his family, and his friends. The Larry Brummett Courage Award is this crystal eagle. The American eagle is known for its sharp vision and extraordinary strength, as was Larry Brummett and as was Jerry Anderson. Tulsa World sports writer Jimmy Trammell wrote an article paying tribute to Jerry Anderson after his death. In that article, Jimmy writes, "Jerry Anderson's modest tombstone does not say anything about him being gallant, brave, or courageous, but Barry Switzer wishes someone would say it." Well, Coach, we're saying it tonight. Jerry Anderson was indeed gallant, brave, and courageous, and on behalf of One Oak, it is my privilege to present the 2008 Larry W. Brummett Courage Award to Jerry Anderson's wife, Darlene.
Thank you. Thank you. It's an honor to be here tonight to accept this award for Jerry. I was just sitting at the table and I had met Larry's son and I just shook his hand and I didn't really know who he was until I seen it on the movie. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I want to thank everyone for inviting us here to accept this award. Jerry lives on, and now I have 3 little grandkids, all boys. They do sports. I got me another Jerry, I got me 3 of them. Thank you.
See, Coach Switcher's already talking to Miss Anderson about where those boys are going to go to school. See if we can sign them up here, Coach. This fellow's been pretty busy. Jay Litchfield is our auctioneer. He's done some of these great events for us. Tonight marks his 75th auction this year. He's already sold more than $2.3 million. So we're going to try to get some money out of you Longhorns and Sooners here with some, only five items, but some very special ones. Going to start off with this OU Texas right down the middle football helmet. Darrell Royal signed this on the Texas side, and Barry Switzer on the OU side. So please welcome Jay Litchfield, our auctioneer, and come on, help out the charity here.
Thank you, Mr. I borrowed, oh, look at there. I borrowed the microphone from the back.
Oh, geez. It'd be easier on this microphone because I could stand out there and work harder. Can you turn this one on? Yes, no? No. Okay. Which one? That one?
Now, here's the reason. There's one thing about this. I don't look pretty. I do not look pretty. I'm not up here to be pretty. That's not my job. My job is to get as much money as I can for the center. That's what I do. I raise money. I don't that at all. Everybody that loves to go to a football game, raise your hand in the air if you love to go to a football game. Come on. Everybody that's planning to go to a football game on Saturday, raise your hand. Everybody whose team is a national champion at one time, raise your hand. Everybody whose team is going to be the next national champion, raise your hand. And everybody whose team will win Saturday, raise your hand. Come on, if your team's going to win Saturday, raise your hand. Perfect. That's all you got to do to bid. Raise your hand. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the very first thing I have, looky here. One of a kind, very special OU Texas helmet, split right down the middle and signed on top by none other than Darrell Royal on the Texas side and Coach Barry Switzer on the OU side. Here we go. Turn in your bids either to Susie or to Rick over there. All you got to do is bid on this little helmet right here. What do you think? How about a $100 bill? $100 bill, $100 bill, $100 bill, $200 bill, $2, now $300 bill, $3. $300 bill, $400 bill, $5. Now $500. $500 bill, $5, $5, $400 bill, $5, $5, $400 now $5. $500 now $6. $500 bill, $6. $500 bill, $600 bill, $6. $500 now $6. $500 bill, $600 bill, $6. How about 5.5? $500 bill, 50, no 50, $500 bill, 50. Got 50. Now 600. Now 600. You're out, young man. $600 bill, 6. 5, no $600 bill, 6. I got a little girl over here bidding. 550. 6. Now 6.5. I can tell this microphone's not going to work. 6.5. 6.5, ma'am. 6.5. Now 7. 7. 700 7. 7. 600 7. 600 7. 600 7. Got 6.5 with Susie. You got to be 7. 600 7. For heaven's sakes, folks, you can't go to Walmart and get these. You can't go to Walmart. You can't get Darrell Royal's signature on one side and Coach Barry Switzer's signature on the other side. 6.5 no 7. 6 7. Yes. Oh, I got it here. 700 with me. You got to be 7.5. 700. 750. Now 800, ma'am. $800 bill, ma'am. How long would you have this helmet for life? 800. 750 no 800. 750 no $800 bill, $800 bill, $800 bill, $800 bill, 8. 750 no 8. Ma'am, you're about 21 years old. You're planning to live at least another 60 years. That's a lot of money. A little bit of money for a lot of years. 750 no 800. 800. Thank you. Now 8.5, sir. 8.5, but a bit 8.5, but a bit 8.5. Don't give up. $800 bill, no 8.5, but a bit 8.5. $800 bill, no 8.5, but a bit 8.5. $800 bill, no 8.5. Yes, no, but a bit 8.5. $800 bill, no 8.5. Sold it right there to that young lady for $800. Sir, would you give $800 for one if I can find you one? Perfect. Sold the other one to that young man right there for $800. Two of them. One there, one there. Now, Mr. Lincoln, what you got? Here, signed by all the Longhorns and all the Sooners here tonight. All signed by all the Longhorns and all the Sooners here tonight. Oh, what do you think there? How about $100? $100 bill on a $100 bill on a $100 bill on a $100 bill on a $200 bill on $200 bill on $2, now $2.5, $200 bill on $2.5, $200 bill on $2.5, but a $2.5. You got to be $2.5. Now $300, now $3.5, sir. $3.5, but a $3.5, but a $3.5. $300 bill on $350. Now $400, $100. Rick, let's see it. $400. $400 bill on $4, but a $4, but a $4, $350. But a $4, $350, $4, but a $4, but a $4, $350, $400, but a $4, $350, $4, but a $4, but a $4, $350, $4. Now $4.5, $4.5, young man, $4.5, $400, but a $50. Now $500, but a $5, but a $5, but a $5, $500, $500, $500. Marcia, don't let him stop. $500. Now $5.5. Now $5.5, young man, $500, but a $5.5, $500, but a $5.5, but a $5.5. Now $600, $600, $500, $600 bill, $600 bill, $600 bill, 6, 5, 6, 6.5. Now 6.5. Now $700. Susie, let's see it. $700, $700 bill. 7. Now 8.5. Now 8.5, but a bit 8.5, but a bit 8.5, but a bit 8.5, but a bit 8.5, $800 bill, 8.5. You're out on this side. $800 bill, 8.5. $800 bill, 8.5. $800 bill, 8.5. $800 bill, 8.5. Yes, no. Sold it right over here. $800. $800. Oh, guess what? Found another one. Do you want me to do something with this, Mike? Here we go. Throw it down, maybe. How about $100? $100 bill. Now $150. Got a same one, signed by everybody here. TU, OU, everyone here. What do you think? Texas, excuse me. Texas, OU. What do you think? $100 bill. $1 $2 $2.5. Let's see it. $2.5, $2.5. $2.5. You bet. $2.5. $2.5. $300. $3.5, $3.5, $3.5, but a $3.5, but a $3.5, $300 bill, $3.5. Now $400, now $400 bill, $4, but a $4, but a $4, but a $4, but a $4, $3 down to $4. Now $4.5. Susie, let's see it. $4.5, $4.5, but a $4.5. Now $500 bill, $500 bill, $5, but a $5, but a $5, $500, $500. Marcia is out. $4 down to $5, $4 down to $5, but a $5, but a $5, but a $5, $500, $500, $500. $4 down to $5, but a $5, but a $5. My, how much is that per signature? Pretty darn cheap. $4 down to $5, $4 down to $5, but a $5, down to $5. You get them all here now. 5.5. Now 5.5. $500 bill, 5.5. $500 bill, 5.5. $500 bill, 5.5. But a 5.5. $500 bill, 5.5. Sir, you don't want to be 5.5? Yes, no, but a 5.5. Sold it right back there, Rick. Your way. $500. Give that young man a round of applause. Thank you. All righty, here we go. Here is a helmet. OU, one side, Texas on the other. Signed by Barry Switzer and all of the OU players and coaches that are here tonight on one side. Signed by all the Texas coaches and players on the other side. Oh, what do you think there? Signed by everybody that's in attendance. What do you think there on that good helmet? How about $100? $100 bill, $100 bill, $100 bill, $150, $150, now $200 bill, $2, now $2.5, now $300, now $3.5, now $400 bill, now $4.5. $4.5. Now $500 bill. $500 bill. Now 5.5. But a 5.5. 5.5. Now $600. $600 bill. 6. 5.5. Now $600 bill. 6. 5.5. Now $600 bill. 6. 5.5. Now 6. Now 6.5. Now 6.5. Now $700 bill. 7 but 7. 6 7 7 but 7 but 7. 6 7 7. 7. Now 7.5. 7 but 7.5. Now $800 bill. Young man in the back, you're out. $800 bill. No 8 but 8 but 8. 750 no 8 but 8 but 8. 750 no 8. 750 no $800 bill. In the brown coat, you're out. 750 no $800 bill. No 8. 8. Now 8.5. Now 8.5. $800 bill. No 8.5 but 8.5. $800 bill. No 8.5. Now 9. Now 9. Young man, make it bring 1,000. Now 9.5. Now 9.5 but 9.5 but 9.5. Now $1,000 bill. 1,000. Now 1,050 but 50 but 50 but $50,000 bill. No 50 no 50 no 50. Don't give up. $1,000 bill. No 50 no 50 no 50 no 50 no 50. There again, you can't get it anywhere else. $1,000 bill. No 50 no 50 no 50. $1,000 bill. No 50 no 50. Rick, are you right out here at $1,000? $1,000 bill. No 50 no 50. $1,000 bill. No 50 no 50 no 50. Sold it right back there for $1,000. Give that young man a round of applause. Now, I think I have more of these. Tommy? I got one more helmet. 100, just like that. $100 bill. Now two. $200 bill. $300 bill. $300 bill. $300 bill. $400 bill. $400 bill. $5. Now $500 bill. $6. Now $6. Susie, let's see it. $6. Now $7. Now $800 again. $800 bill. $800. Do it. $800 bill. $8. $800 now $9. $900 bill. Now $1,000. $1,000 bill. $1,000 bill. $1,000 bill. $9 now $1,000. $900 bill. $1,000 bill. 1 1. You want to be $950? $900 bill. $900 bill. $50. Sold it right over there, $900. Give that young man a round of applause, please, for $900. Oh, yeah. And they even give me the names, Chris. Can you believe that? This is the original watercolor lithograph of the program, and it's going to have the signatures of all the players on it. And they are Steve Hall from Texas, Tony Peters from OU, Earl Campbell from Texas, Joe Washington from OU, and Lionel Johnson from Texas. And Tommy told me that you didn't have to pay for it until they got all the signatures, but I think you just need to pay for it tonight, and we'll get you the signatures one way or the other. Here we go. So I'm selling you this original watercolor lithograph, and it's going to have all the signatures on it. We've already got some of them on here already. There's Steve's signature already. We're ready to go, and Mr. Washington's right in the middle. Here we go. Selling you this litho watercolor right here. How about $100? $100 bill, $100 bill, $100 bill, $100 bill, $100 bill. Now $200 bill, $200 bill, $100 bill, $200 bill, $200 bill, $2. How about $150? $100 bill, $100 bill, $100 bill, $100. People must like helmets better. $150. Now two, Rick. $150 now $2, $150 now $2, $150 now $2, $150 now $2, $100 bill, $2, $150 now $2, $150. You want to be 2? Yes, no, but a bit 2. Sold it your way, Susie. $150, Mr. Bartlett. Thank you very much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jay Litchfield. Give a round of applause for Susie Moore over on the right and Rick Miller right there. Thank you all very much. Have a great evening. Thanks.
One, two, three. Hello. Is that mic check okay? How's that? Hello. We have a mic working? How's that? Stay with the hand mic, huh? You can do that. Let's welcome up the people who are going to take part in our OU Texas Legends Rivalry Dinner tonight. From the Texas side, again, welcome back up Fred Akers, head football coach, 1977 to 1986. Took over the legendary Darrell Royal. Had Earl Campbell as a Heisman Trophy winner for coach in 1977. Coached his team to 11-0 regular season start in his first year. Fred Akers, come on out, coach. James Street, come on out, James. Number 16, quarterback for the Longhorns, 68 to 69. Right here, coach. James Street, undefeated as Texas starting quarterback in 20 straight games. Won the national championship in 1969. He beat Notre Dame in the Cotton Bowl. Also a star pitcher for the Longhorns. He threw 2 no-hitters, helping Texas to the Southwest Conference Championship. And James is the father, by the way, for you baseball fans should know this, of Oakland A's star closing pitcher, Houston Street. James Street, quarterback, Longhorns. He was a linebacker from 1977 to 1980, former Broken Arrow Tiger, first player from Oklahoma ever go to play for Texas. He made 2 big plays that beat the Sooners twice in 77 and 79. Welcome back to Oklahoma, Steve Hall. Offensive lineman, 78 to 81 for the University of Texas, all Southwest Conference. Played in the NFL with the Cleveland Browns, the New England Patriots, and the Kansas City Chiefs for 11 seasons. This year, he'll be inducted into the Texas Football Hall of Honor. Welcome, Mike Babb, offensive lineman. He is the only Texas quarterback in history to go 4-0 against Oklahoma. 1989 through 1992, he's still known in Texas simply as Peter the Great. Peter Gardier, quarterback. On the Oklahoma side, welcome back the king, the winningest coach in Oklahoma football history, 157 victories, 3 national titles, Barry Switzer. You're right here, coach. Defensive tackle, 1964 to 66, played on the 66 team that beat Texas 18-9. That broke an 8-game Texas win streak. Welcome defensive tackle, Jim Riley. Little Joe, All-American, played on 2 national championship teams, 3-1 against Texas in his career. Joe Washington, 72-75. Two-time All-American, played on the national championship team in 1975, 1-1 against Texas. Welcome back linebacker Darrell Hunt. And running back All-American, played on 2 national championship teams for Bud Wilkinson. He was 3-0 in his career against Texas, 1955 to 1957. Welcome back Clendon Thomas. All right, have a seat, guys. I hope these microphones work. Coach. All right, folks, settle in for some memory time here. We're going to have a little relaxed conversation with some of the guys here. We'll start down the far end. We'll have to share microphones here, guys, they tell me. Hand one over to Peter here. Peter, we'll start down here with you on some of your personal reflections, what the OU-Texas rivalry means to you guys. Peter?
I'll tell you, man, it means a great deal. I think it's, as it's been said quite a bit tonight, that it's one of the greatest football rivalries that there is. I think, you know, we have A&M also that's been in the conference forever, but I think the Texas-Oklahoma game epitomizes what the college rivalry and what college football is all about.
Mike, hand it over to Mike here. Mike Babb.
Well, I was fortunate. I played in 4 games, got to start 4 years against Oklahoma. My first year in 1978, they had a backfield that had Kenny King, a guy named Lott, a guy named Overstreet, and a guy named Sims. So they ran downhill at us all day long, but then I won 3 in a row. And people always ask me, gee, you played all those games against Oklahoma. How was it? You know, what was the best part? Was there all kind of fights in the field? And I said, no. The best fights were walking down on the ramp before the game.
Steve Hall from Broken Arrow. How did this happen? You became the very first Sooner, right, to go down and play for the University of Texas.
That's what. You hear me? Yeah, that's what they tell me. I don't know. We haven't confirmed it or denied it, but it was. I had a little bit of Texas background with the family, and so I was looking that way early on. But it's an honor to be part of this fraternity of OU Texas, and I hope it continues because this feels good. I've never heard of this being done, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
And the quarterback who never lost at Texas, James Street. James?
What am I supposed to answer now? No, this is a great. We just had a reunion of our Texas-Arkansas game in '69 game, and Coach Akers was part of that. You know, it's about winning. And it is about winning, and it is about teams. But more than anything else, it's the level of competition that you appreciate. It's the passion that you have to play the game, the passion you have to win the game. And there's no game that we ever played, whether we played Notre Dame in the Cotton Bowl or whatever, better than the Texas OU game.
Coach Akers, started in '77 for you.
Well, '77 was a great year for us because we saw some guys that were disappointed in what they had done before, hadn't really fulfilled their dreams of their college life, and we were able to put together a team that stayed together. We literally didn't have any injuries until the last ball game. Once we got through the OU game, now I'll tell you what, we lost our 2 top quarterbacks in the first half in that game. I nearly fainted about 10 times, but it was it was a young man named Randy McEachern, who, by the way, sends his regards to all of you here. He has a son that's part of the OU program, believe it or not. And, but Randy went in and performed like the champion that he is and was then. And we were able to finish that game as undefeated. We were 11-0 and made a mistake and played Notre Dame in the bowl game. But I'm going to tell you, that ball game with Oklahoma that year was one of the roughest, toughest, I mean clean, but it was tough and downright mean out there on that football field. That's one of the most aggressive ball games that I've been associated with. And that's why these guys have respect for each other.
Clendon Thomas, we'll take you back. You were part of the Wilkinson era. Was the rivalry just as intense back then, Clendon, going down to Red River to beat Texas, and you never lost to them? Hit it. Good work. Good deal, Daryl. No, Daryl would hit something. You always do, Daryl. Always a good hitter.
I can describe the Texas OU weekend. I was playing for the Steelers in New York, and we were playing the Giants, and I was talking to a fan, and he was a middle-aged guy, and he said before he died, he would like to do two things. He'd like to run the Bulls in Spain, and he'd like to participate in the OU Texas weekend. And it's a big deal, and it's a big deal for a lot of people, and that's exactly what it was. Every year we went down, it was bigger than a bowl game. The bowl games are easier than Texas OU weekend.
And a couple of Texans who crossed the Red River, and Barry Switzer smiles when he thinks of those guys because they became pretty important cogs in national championship teams. Daryl Hunt, Daryl, some of your reflections.
Better hit it again. Well, my first time I went to the OU Texas game as a freshman, just seeing it orange and red on one side, orange on the other, and just loud. And then you get in the game, and then the collisions. I remember I put my head in on the play, and my head just kept moving because everybody was just hitting each other, and it continued that way. And then at my junior and senior year, we had a great team. My roommate Victor Hicks is in the audience tonight. We came to play, and the guys on the other side of the field, they came to play, and we had respect for one another. Coach Switzer had us ready and primed to play each time, and just the dedication that we had, the dedication that Texas players had, and we just respected each other so much.
Little Joe, you put a couple of national championships together while your string there against Texas, and I think it was Coach Royal who described it as like smoke through a keyhole.
Well, I think, what with me, for the most part, I think it's just the anticipation of that particular week. I know we always played the eyes of Texas are upon you, during practice the whole time. And, if that doesn't get you ready to play a football game, I don't think anything else will. But I think what really, for me, for the most part, was, before attending Oklahoma, as a kid, watching that game, watching James Street, and watching Greg Pruitt. And really, when Greg got to the University of Oklahoma, I think that's when I really paid attention to, how intense that rivalry actually was. And believe me, seeing it on television is nothing compared to being there.
And Jim Riley, Jim through the 60s, and you ended a long drought. Texas had quite a string against Oklahoma and played for Coach Jim McKenzie's team in '66 that broke the string.
That was Coach Switzer's first OU Texas game. Hold it up to now.
Hit it again.
Hello. As I said, that was Coach Switzer's. Here's a Texas. How about this one?
Ours
You
works
have this
real
one,
good
Daryl.
over here.
It was his first game with us, and it was about time. I'd grown up in the state of Oklahoma. Playing Texas was a dream that I always had as a child. When I was a little kid, I watched Clendon play, and it was, and I mean that, he was one of my heroes. He told me several years ago, he says, "Jim, don't be telling people that. You look as old as I do." And I said, "I understand that." But yes, big time thrill. One of the biggest games I was involved in. and I was involved in some others later on in my life.
Coach Switzer, 9-5-2 against Texas, but here's a guy that won a Super Bowl as well. What's better, Super Bowl or beating Texas?
Just another game to me. First of all, I want to thank Freddie Akers, my old teammate from Arkansas. Freddie and I played together at Arkansas. Freddie was from Blytheville, Arkansas, and we played together for 3 years for Frank Broyles, both went into coaching, a great profession. I know all these guys that are sitting there with him. Thank y'all for making the effort to be here tonight to be a part of this event, because y'all had to come a long, long way and make a great sacrifice to be here. You know, it's interesting tonight. I rode up here with 3 of my coaches, 3 close friends, 3 people that have been a part of this great tradition and great classic. Bobby Proctor, who was Freddie Akers and my freshman coach, who was my secondary coach at Oklahoma. Merv Johnson and Charlie North. We talked about the great rivalries in college football. We have seen them all. Charlie's participated in a couple of them, and we, to the man, said that there's no greater classic in college football. No event has the atmosphere, the electricity, the excitement, the emotion that you have in that game that is on that field in that one time, that one day in October. It is the greatest classic in college football. There's none other like it. You've got to be a part of it to understand it, to walk down that ramp and to go out on that field and play that game. Both teams played with every intention of winning. One's going to win and one's going to lose. But every player gives his all. They leave it all on the field in a winning effort or a losing effort. I was fortunate enough to won more than I lost, and when you play Texas, you ought to be damn happy with that.
Coach, thank you, guys. Let's take a look now at the video screen and look at the series record here. This is amazing. This has been such a series of streaks, and it started at the very beginning when these 2 teams started playing around the 1900s. Just amazing how it went in kind of a cycle. Texas, then OU, then back to Texas and stuff. So check the video screen here. We'll give you a rundown of how it went through the years of some of the streaks of Oklahoma and Texas. Again, it started pretty well for Texas, and Oklahoma had to kind of climb back into it here. Cyclical, to be sure, and even lately it has been that kind of day. Roll my videotape. Thank you. Feel like I'm back on ESPN. 1900 to 1947, Texas dominating with 29 wins, 11 losses, 2 ties. Then the Sooners got rolling as Bud Wilkinson showed up, 9-1, 48 to 57. Then things would turn around once again. Moved into 58-70. Look at that. Texas dominating, 12-1 through those years, the streaks. Then came Barry Switzer, 71, 88, 11, 5-2. Oklahoma had the upper hand. Then after Coach Switzer came the 90s, and Texas back on top. Texas 8-2-1 during 89 to 1999. Then the Sooners said enough of this, went out and got Bob Stoops. Bob Stoops, 2000, 2004, 5-0. Of course, Texas won 05, 06. Oklahoma came back to win the last year. Clinton, this is your part of the show. We're going to take you back a bit to some of the early Oklahoma days. Mentioned 55 to 57 here with Coach Wilkinson dominating there. They talk about the win streak. You were part of that. 47. Never lost to Texas. What the hell happened in the Notre Dame game?
Time ran out before we won it. Bad afternoon, but we didn't show up. We won the next week. But,
well, those were some glory years for Oklahoma, of course. For Texas, not so much. So they got to a point where they decided we need to turn this around and get this straightened out. So who'd they look to but Oklahoma? And a guy from Hollis, Oklahoma, a former Oklahoma football star, Darrell Royal, became the coach of the Longhorns. Let's take a look at the Coach Darrell Royal era at Texas.
Wilkinson's in his heyday when Darrell arrived at Texas. Darrell remarked when he took over the program, the new coach is not inheriting a warm bed.
Darrell Royal and company struck the Texas team in 1957 with 2 jobs: turn the program around and beat Oklahoma.
Now, you've got to be absolutely nuts, I think, to try to take over for a legend. Fred Akers became the head coach of Texas when Darrell Royal retired, 1977. So all he did was beat Oklahoma, and he mentioned win 11 straight games and go to the Cotton Bowl. But, Coach, what was it like to try to step in there for a guy who truly was one of the icons of college football?
Well, I didn't realize. Hold that. Thank you, Coach. I didn't realize. Hello. Got it. I didn't realize how big a chore it would be to follow a legend. I hadn't had any training in it, nor any experience in it, so it was feeling my way. And I was an assistant coach with Darrell for 9 years before I became a head coach, and I felt at home at Texas. And I knew all, the players, the coaches, many of the fans, the standards, the expectations, all that. And I probably had it easier than someone coming in from the outside, not knowing some of those things. And I would pity the fella that did it, because I guarantee you it was tough. It always is. He was a great coach. I learned a lot from him, and I'm proud that I was able to be on his staff. He gave me my first chance at college coaching.
Mike Babb, were you the one to tell me about why it takes 5 Longhorns to screw a light bulb in? Was that your story about why it took 5 Longhorns to screw a light bulb in?
Well, people like Fred have a very difficult chore, because at the University of Texas, every time we do anything, it takes, like, for instance, how many Longhorns does it take to change a light bulb? 4. 1 of them to do it, and 3 of them to stand around and talk about how Darrell would have did it.
Barry, isn't it true that Oklahoma tried to hire Darrell Royal as their coach?
Well, sure. When I think that every time the job opened, they wanted Darrell to come home. That was the theme. And I remember talking to George Cross, who was president of the University of Oklahoma for 25 years, and I wrote this in my book. When actually he wrote it, because when he did the chapter on the building the monster, and my job was to feed it, he wrote that chapter, and he said that everyone wanted Darrell, but he had to make it an offer that Darrell had to refuse. And I think that he honestly did that, and because he had in mind he wanted to hire an assistant coach from Arkansas named Jim McKenzie, which he did, and Oklahoma had always hired assistant coaches. They had never hired a head coach till I think hired Schnellenberger, and so it had been an assistant coach, always been the one that got the job as a head coach at Oklahoma, and of course Jim McKenzie, the late Jim McKenzie, and that was the year that we broke the 8-game winning streak in his first year, and we lost a great dominant football figure in that man.
Take you to one of those games of Darrell Royal, because it involved one of our panelists here, James Street, quarterback in 1969. Let's go back and take a look at the 1969 OU Texas game. Chris Schenkel of ABC Sports called the game, and the analyst, Bud Wilkinson. The 100th year of college football. James Strait, the Texas quarterback. James, some of your memories of that game, that season for you.
Well, you know, it's the same thing we've talked about all night long. Playing in those ball games in the 67 year, I was a sophomore and didn't get to play. And I'll never forget in my whole life ever, Coach Royal came into the locker room, and we were behind at the halftime. And Coach Royal, the coaches started gathering you and talking to you like they do. Coach Royal said, we don't need any of that, we don't need any of that, we don't need any of that. Okay, just sit down. And first thing he said, there's a hell of a fight going on out there. There's a hell of a fight going on, and we're not in it. And so from there, I kind of learned how what Coach Royal expected from you in playing the game and how much that game meant to him. And over the years, playing in that game and playing against Jack Mildren, playing against the Worm, these guys were great players, and we were lucky to win those ball games. It was a great competition. I think that more than anything else, when it's all over with, we were lucky to win some of those games, and we were lucky not to lose some of them.
We're going to take it down to 1976. Had to be one of the most bitter games in all the Oklahoma-Texas rivalry. It involved a spying incident, and it involved a president of the United States. Let's look back, 1976, Oklahoma, Texas.
There are times when rivalries get bitter. Coach Royal had been such an icon in Texas, and Coach Switzer was a new kid on the block.
I think enough has been said about that. There's no sense stating that bones. We had it active. That's my opinion. There's no need to get back into it again.
The day before the 1976 Texas OU matchup, a bombshell exploded in the media. Longhorn coach Darrell Royal accused OU of spying on his team. He went as far as to offer head coach Barry Switzer and the alleged spy $10,000 each if they took a lie detector test. Switzer refused and in turn said that if any spying had happened, it wasn't on his watch.
1976, the Dallas papers came out with spying that happened in 72 when I was an assistant coach. I did not know the spying happened until it happened. After the fact that I knew it was released publicly. I was the head coach, so I was the defendant of my coaching staff. I said it never happened under my regime. Therefore, a lot of people thought it was a current situation. And it really was 4 years earlier that this actually happened. And it did happen. There's no question about it. It happened. I'll admit that. It did happen while I was head coach.
Whatever firestorm was happening off the field was sure to make this year's matchup an interesting one. While Switzer and Royal kept their distance in pregame warm-up, they were forced to face each other as President Gerald Ford was in attendance and would perform the pregame coin toss. As the president and the two coaches headed down the ramp, there was undeniable tension and an understandably cold welcome to Coach Royal from the Sooner faithful.
I know President Ford has got to be, what's going on here? These guys are really ready to play. We never shook hands. We never spoke to each other. We spoke to the president, and we walked down the ramp. No one said the president's trying to make small talk. No one said anything.
Now for the rest of the story. All right, Coach Switzer.
Well, as we walk through the goalpost, and this is why I've always said at the OU Texas game, the Oklahoma team has an advantage coming on the field because the south end zone oval, half the field is all red and Cyrus every year. So whether we are dressed in white, being the away team, or dressed in red, being the home team, our fans always sat in that south end zone. About that time, some redneck from Oklahoma, red polyester, stood up and with a booming voice yelled out, "Who are those two SOBs with Switzer?" That wasn't exactly what he said, but everybody in the south end zone heard it. You want to think you feel about that small? Well, I did, but I've always been thankful. You know, it could have been orange in that end zone. And it had been me directed toward me. But that was the most embarrassing moment I've probably ever had in my life. But we forgot about coin toss at that point.
Yeah, we cleaned that up for the younger kids in the audience here, by the way. Darrell Hunt, you were involved in that. You were in the locker room in 76. Could you guys feel the tension that was around Coach Switzer, Coach Royal, and President Ford?
I don't think we knew anything about Spygate or whatever was going on. We were very intent on winning the game, and that was our whole focus. I was having a good game that day, and I had an interception the first half, and I had done something on the Texas sideline that I didn't know anything about, a clothesline tackle. And we come out the second half, and you know we're rolling again, and defensively it's a struggle because it's 3-3 or something like that, and it ended up a 6-6 tie. But I get the guy Johnny Ham Jones on our sideline, and I put a good, what I think is a good tackle. I run 5 flat. Make sure you hear that. I run 5 flat, and this guy is flying down the sideline at 4 or 5. And I just stick my arm out there, and he ran into it, right? Thank you. And I roll out of bounds, and I see this flag. Can't tell my story. I think they see this flag coming at me, and the guy says, well, the official said, that was a flagrant foul, and you're out of the game. And I said, what? I think there was a spy gate on me, you know. But that was just how the battle was going on between both teams, and it was just a dogfight. And it's something to be proud of, to be a part of those defensive struggles. You got a great offensive Texas team. You got a strong defensive Oklahoma team, and vice versa when we have the ball. And it was just good to be a part of that. And although I didn't get a chance to finish the game, but it's just something that lives with me forever, and just knowing that I was there and during Switzer's time and this alleged spygate.
Let's finish the 1976 OU Texas game. Back to the videotape here.
They had the game under tight control for 3.5 quarters.
Late in the fourth quarter, 2 minutes to go in the ball game, we scored a tied ball game. I had an extra point kicker who had never missed an extra point in his career with Von Schaum. And Von Schaum never had a chance to kick it because the snap was high, over the ball. That's a game that I thought we should have won.
I never felt that God ever got involved in a football game. But if there's ever been a chance for the Almighty to get involved, he might have looked down and seen Coach Royal on the sideline and said, you know, this sucker has suffered enough. I am not going to let him lose this game.
That 6-6 tie would turn out to be the last game in the series for the legendary Coach Royal. He would retire at the end of the season with a record of 167 wins, 47 losses, and 5 ties, making none as hard to swallow as the one that day in the Cotton Bowl.
Well, Coach, I got to get your thoughts on. Then Freddie Akers came the next year. You had a long relationship with Fred. You guys together at Arkansas. And as I remember, Coach, I think I was at that Fiesta Bowl in 1976 when Oklahoma played Fred's Wyoming team.
Well, Fred's Texas team had better players than his Wyoming team, I promise you. And the first thing Freddie did, he stuck Earl Campbell 8 yards deep and handed him the ball about 35 times a game. And that's why they were 11-0 and should have been national champions. You know, Fred had a great run at Wyoming, and that's why he had the opportunity. He proved himself as a head football coach out there and was given the opportunity to come back home to Texas to lead that program, and did an outstanding job while he was at Texas.
What do you want to talk about, Wyoming? Or
No, not that one, Coach.
I don't appreciate you bringing that up.
41-6, by the way, I was the score.
Yeah, I remember it. Got lumps on my head from that one.
Well, 1977 turned around. I got to show Coach. I got to share this with you guys, and you'll all enjoy this. I'm already making fun of Coach Switzer's hair. Well, 1977, the University of Texas was kind enough to send us a 2-disc DVD of the play-by-play of that football game. We're in the Edit Center working on it, producing it last week. One of the guys walked through, Dan Maris, our friend, and says, wow, Chris, that play-by-play guy sounds a lot like you. I said, you out of your mind? It can't be me. Hell, that was 31 years ago. It was me. Take a look at the videotape. You can see how cruel videotape truly is. My color analyst, by the way, the recently retired Coach Darrell Royal, and Steve Ross, working out of the Austin station. We did the OU Texas game. Here's some of the call.
much well recruited.
All right, comments from Coach Akers, Coach Switzer, then we're going to talk to Steve Hall here. But, Coach, your first OU Texas game.
Well, I'll tell you, it was quite a relief to get through that ball game. I've never seen things change in a ball game that quickly. The fact that we did lose our first two quarterbacks really was something to overcome. And it took everything that we had, including this almost a supernatural punter. And the guy kicked a 64-yard field goal also in that game. He was busy, and it was he played defense for us with his foot. So we had an extra defensive man out there. It was a great win, and one we were extremely proud of, because truly Oklahoma was a great football team.
They used an illegal ball at the kick. Explain this ball was illegal. No, we like to joke about that, but he did kick it well. He was a great kicker. But you know, Texas was a great football team, and the only game that Arkansas lost that year was to Texas by the same score. They beat us. It was the only game we lost till we, I think, go to the Cotton Bowl. I mean, the Orange Bowl to play Arkansas, who was 10-1. We were 10-1, and we lose to Arkansas. And they were an outstanding football team, but Texas was better than both of us that year.
Take a look at this clip now of Steve Hall. Even his old Texas buddies call him Two-Play Hall. I'll let Steve explain this one, but this was an awfully big one. We'll watch this block with Earl Campbell. Steve, take it here.
Well, actually, this is the wrong man I was supposed to block. there's always stories on a big play, and if you back that up and saw what the guy that I was supposed to block, he jumped over, luckily, and so it was, I went after the next guy and just stayed on him. I think the guy would rather me block him than hit Earl anyway, but the line coach the next day in films, he's handing out scorecards and telling you what you graded and how you did, and he goes, Steve, I hated to do it, but you got a double plus for the block, but you got a minus for the wrong guy. So that was my one play, and I want to say this too. I started out that year. I believe it was a year of the scholarship limits of 30 per year. I was the last person. I committed to Coach Roll, and then when the coaching changed and whatnot, I became a free agent again, and everybody was locked up or what. Or I think OU was full, I believe. That's what the story I heard anyway. Right? But anyway, I was fortunate enough to be, I think, the last player, and Coach Ken Dabb's recruiting coordinator back then, I think had to, he tells me anyway, he's the one who named me two-play Hall anyway, and he tells me he had to beg Coach Akers for me to be the last player taken. And I think the first day of practice I went, what in the world have I got myself into? I'm the 8th-string tight end. And luckily a few guys got hurt, you beat out a few, you go through the whole deal. So I got 4 months before that, I was a 200-pound tight end from Broken Arrow, and all of a sudden I'm in the biggest game that I have been watching from the Oklahoma side, with the Texas-Oklahoma, and just going, boy, I'd like to play in that. And here I go, what in the world am I doing? I think the very first play is either Darryl or somebody hit me across the neck on the first play on a punt.
Darryl.
That I think it was that clothesline that he on a, and in film I've watched it before, that I hit the ground on my knees about 4 times. That was welcome to Oklahoma, Texas football game, and I hit my knees like 4 times going down the field. But it is, I didn't sleep for 3 days before that game, and your mouth's like cotton the whole time anyway, and it was coming down that ramp with these guys is just unbelievable.
One of your teammates there, Lance Taylor, was telling me also defensively, when they stopped Thomas Lott on that 4th down play, that they had the wrong defense called, or he went the wrong way, something happened, just still worked out.
Yeah, Lance wanted to make sure that got on on there, and he was a big instrumental in that goal line stand too.
Darryl, what do you remember about stopping or trying to stop or tackle Earl Campbell?
Out of all the plays that I made, I remember I had an opportunity to tackle Earl, and I think I blinked. And you don't blink against the best running back in the nation. And he ran through my little arm tackle, and then I looked back, and he was 20 yards down the field. And that's what it's like to play Earl Campbell. And then I got a chance to be his teammate when I went to the orders, so it was fun to be on his side.
Little Joe, how about from your standpoint, Earl Campbell, you're growing up in Texas there, Port Arthur, your thought on the Tyler Rose there?
Earl was basically, in high school. The first time I got a chance to see him play was in high school. And it was like a man playing with little boys. I saw him in an all-star game. I saw him carry the football a couple of times, and guys take shots at him, and they were just falling off of him like pellets on a Sherman tank. And it was just something unbelievable. But I do know, and I truly be from watching, most of the games, and out of all the games Earl played in, he probably had some of his toughest yardage against the University of Oklahoma because, we played very good defense, and we were probably lucky enough to catch him with the Selman brothers and catch him when he was a little young. So, but it's no doubt he's one of the best I've ever seen.
When do you guys have an update on Earl? How's he doing? I would say just had some more surgery or something, or what's the latest on Earl?
Yeah, Earl hasn't been faring too well. He's part of his condition was inherited, but most of it has been from the heavy-duty kind of football that he played, and having a fierce heart. You couldn't you couldn't make him stop. And he's suffering from it. He's had several surgeries. He has to have assistance when he walks and moves. He's in a wheelchair a lot of the time. And we hope that this last surgery that he's had on his back will be a very positive thing. It'd be great to see that man back on his feet.
Barry, your thoughts on Earl Campbell? I know you'd love to have had him at Oklahoma.
Well, when I came back from watching him play a high school football game at John Tyler High School, and on Friday nights the rules were different then. You know, it was a free-for-all in recruiting, and I would be in Texas watching some Texas high school football player play. I came back and told our coaching staff I had seen the first high school football player, without a doubt in my mind, could go on to professional football and made one of the 26 teams in the NFL at that time. There's no question about it. And Earl loved to gore people. In high school, he could have been arrested for assault and battery when he broke into the secondary in high school, because those defensive backs that hit him, they just go spinning off into the stands, and it was just an awesome sight to see him play. And but he was truly one of the greats that have ever played the game. I've said that he's the best that I've ever seen play in high school, and probably one of the best that ever played in college. I've had some great ones. But Earl did it on every level. He gored them all. He was like a Brahma bull, and he gored them all.
Jump to the 80s now, 1984, and this was the game that Coach Switzer still gets stirred up about. Let's go to 1984, Oklahoma, Texas. This was a tough one for both sides to take.
I got up in the morning, looked out the hotel window, and the sky was black. There was lightning flashing, and thunder was rumbling, and I knew that you couldn't call it, but I thought that we would need an ark to get there. The walk from the car to what was happening.
It has been very seldom that the Texas OU game has had rain. The 1984 game was certainly an exception to that rule, because it
Gee, what'd you have to say to the referee walking off, Barry?
Well, I was, actually 3 plays before the interception end zone, Tony Casillas recovered a fumble. It was clearly a fumble, and we weren't given that because John McClintock, the Big 8 official, was trying to put his glasses back on. He wore glasses, and I looked at John, he's a referee, and he's trying to get his glasses straight, and he never knew what happened to the football, but Tony had recovered the ball. It was, we'd played well. Texas had played well. No one wants to tie a ball game, and, we felt like, without a question, that the ball was intercepted. 2 officials were on it, should have made the call, but Butch Clark, the official, didn't make the call, and so it's a tie in the books. So we live with it.
Coach?
A heck of a play.
Let's look at some of those other highlights Coach mentioned here. Take a look at some of the other video highlights of that football game. We're going to start with Oklahoma and a heck of a goal line stand, Coach, by your defense here.
This was a very young defensive football team. Bosworth, Dante Jones, Darrell Reed, Troy Johnson, a bunch of Texas guys. Tony Casillas, who was junior then, All-American. Now here's the fumble, yeah. Slow motion, and the ball pops out right here, and on this hit, the ball comes loose, ball's out. No, knee down my Stanberry makes a great play. A freshman corner reaches over the top and tips the ball away, tips it back to Keith Stansberry from Mount Pleasant, Texas. There's 2 Texans, one from Houston. Reaches over the top. Great play by defensive corner. Great play. Knocks the ball away. And Keith catches the ball, baskets it in. Butch Clark's looking at it right there. The official seeing it. There's another official actually right here. Should have made the call. Ball's in his left arm. Slides out of bounds. See, there's the other official moving into play. You got 2 officials there. Anyway, what the hell are we doing talking about something like this? I won't have 2 hours to drive home think about this.
Coach, anything Longhorns? You guys want to apologize or anything? Or
Hell no.
Exactly, Coach. Down the far end there, we got to get to Peter the Great here. Peter Gardier, he picked up that moniker and well-deserved. The only quarterback in the great history of the University of Texas to be 4-0 against Oklahoma. Now, Peter, we tried and scoured through all the Oklahoma archives. Here's all the video we could come up with on Peter Gardier. So, Peter, as we look at your highlight clips from OU's standpoint, let's talk about your domination. That's a touchdown pass. And then we have a shot of Peter here.
It wasn't hard when you have a guy that's 6'5" on the end and just throw it up and let him catch it. I must say, I didn't really do much. Through the years, for the 4 years, we had some great players on defense, and that's who won the game. I didn't really have much to do with it. Made a couple of passes and hand off the ball. It's not real hard.
89, Peter. Texas 28, Oklahoma 24. You have an 80-yard drive, hit Johnny Walker with a winning touchdown pass. That one, 1990, Texas 14, OU 13. Keith Cash caught one of your passes, 2 minutes left. Now, 1991, you beat Oklahoma and never scored an offensive touchdown.
Great game. It's like watching soccer. That was a tough game. Like, it was one of those that, once again, the defense played real well. We had some special teams plays that went with us. And that's what's strange about this game. You know, it doesn't matter what the rankings are. It's such a great game, but special teams, for some reason, all the games that I played had something to do with a big play in those games, and I think that was one of them. We had a fumble recovery for a touchdown.
In his senior season, though, Peter, as Oklahoma lost 34-24, passed for 274 yards, 2 touchdowns. The fans at the end of the game, the Texas fans, were chanting 4 more years. The OU fans were cheering, graduate, graduate. Peter, I want to show what Oklahomans think of you still to this day. The Tulsa World, in their fall football preview, did a little special section having their writers, their readers, vote on who the people in sports are that Oklahomans most hate. All right, let's take a look at the poll results here and see how Peter is still fondly thought of in Oklahoma. Frank Boyle's #1, 31% hated him. The Nebraska Cornhuskers, 25%. Darrell Royal, close behind, 24%. Bill Yeoman of Houston, 11% for his one bad beating of TU. But there you are, Peter, #5 at 10%. Who do we love to hate in Oklahoma?
Well, I think if Gary Gibbs had to vote on that, I'd probably be #1 because I think I beat him all those years. So it was, you know, it's nice to be remembered, especially for the OU game because it's such a special game. But like I said, I can't take credit for it. It's for guys like these guys up here that you know, helped you out in those games.
One more game by the decade of the 90s was not good for Oklahoma. The Longhorns won 5 to OU's 2. There was one tie. Texas, coached by David McWilliams, by John Makovic, and by Mac Brown. Oklahoma had Gary Gibbs, Howard Schnellenberger, John Blake. Enough said. Things are about to change, though. Bob Stoops came to Norman. We're going to show you this last clip, a game always known to OU fans as the game that Superman played in. 2001, Oklahoma, Texas.
2 minutes left. We're 98 yards away. We're down 7-3. We've got a chance to drive the lane for the field goal game. I know Chris Sims talked about it later, said they felt confident they were going to go in and do it. One of the last things that Mike Stoops told Roy Williams was don't gamble. Don't creep up. We're not going to blitz. On the same blitz earlier in the game, Roy basically done the same thing. Went flying over the top, back cut him, didn't get close on the blitz. With calling the timeout, and Mike Stoops had him over on the sideline and was discussing, you know, this is what we're going to run. He said, now don't dive over this time. Don't leave your feet. Don't leave your feet. Don't leave your feet. Because if he catches your feet, you're making it look like boo as you go eating turf, you know, on your face. Chris Sims drops back. All of a sudden, here comes somebody flying through the air. It's almost too quick. It almost was. All of a sudden, the ball just tossed up like a bread. Betty Langland's right there. It happened so quickly that you really didn't realize what had happened. In those games like that, the great players make the great plays. And Roy Williams made a great play in a great game.
I'm an emotional guy. I do, you know, sometimes I do things, and even though Mike told me not to jump, I'm instant. And something told me to jump, and I jumped.
The Roy Williams of Texas, named Roy Williams, Oklahoma Superman, and you can see why on that play. You don't see many safeties leaving fullbacks in a single bound to go take the head off the quarterback. That's what Roy Williams did.
Really, I thought characterized the take no prisoners attitude that Oklahoma brought to that particular game. They weren't going to be denied. They were not going to let Texas beat them. Certainly not let Chris Sims beat them.
This is what we say about football. If you do something the coach tells you not to do, and you do it right, and something happens, they ain't gonna say nothing to you. But if you mess up, they gonna cut you out. So I was like, if I do this, I hope I make the play. Because if I don't, I'm gonna try.
We were all laughing in the locker room afterwards. Mike said, that's exactly how I wanted you to do it.
2001, Oklahoma, Texas. Before we leave you, I got to say we were searching the internet trying to find a bunch of old photos, old stories, old video clips on Oklahoma, Texas. I got to ask Coach Switzer about this one photo. Take a look at this. It's appearing all over the place on YouTube. We think our coach might have been kidnapped, possibly drugged. What the hell happened here?
Well, I was celebrating with Mac. We were at the, where the hell were we? But we were celebrating, and it probably is at the Hall of Fame banquet, or could have been at the Sports Hall of Fame in Oklahoma City. I'm not sure, but I went along with it. So, you know, I'm a good guy. I have my other hand, had King's X.
Give these folks a round of applause. Hope you've enjoyed our look back OU Texas. Pete, guys back? Fred, thank you, buddy. Enjoyed it. Pete, all these guys. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all for being here. We hope to make this an annual event, maybe down in Dallas or in Austin. Got you out here before 10 o'clock. We're proud of that. As we leave you, take a look at our final video, what Oklahoma, Texas means to everybody. Enjoy OU Texas game, whether you're Hook'em, Horns, or Boomer Sooner. Have a great time on Saturday.
Well, that's not a bad deal.
BD back to you. Want me to make copies
Yeah,
of it and then get it back to you? I can give that to you, or I can have dubs of it made and get it back to you.
All right, I can.
Copies of it and send it back to you. Back to you, whatever you should have it. I'll get it. 76. A game back to you too. Coach, I need you to sign